All right, so this morning we are eating deep fried matzah with strawberries and vanilla yogurt. This is super good. This is one of my family's favorite. We used to be able to puff them, remember? I tried.
Yeah.
I got the seal around each one so that they're supposed to be like so big so you can stuff them with strawberries and vanilla yogurt.
Like that.
Oh, did you do it?
Little one.
I see. Cool.
I made a sandwich.
You made a sandwich. Nice. So remind us why we're eating matzah in many, many different ways this week.
YHVH is not.
Boring.
Yeah.
Well,
There's more than one facet. It's
I-
multifaceted.
Which is why I like the word prismatic.
Prismatic. There you go.
He's flavorful, and you know how he says, you know, you are salt, and what good is salt if it's lost its saltiness? So it's thrown down the road. So I feel like he's the saltiest of them all, as in the most flavorful. And so every day we have matzah in many ways. Otherwise, if I would have to eat those crackers, I'd go nuts this week. I wouldn't want to celebrate this week if we had to eat that stupid matzah. Cracker matzah you buy in the stores. That stuff's awful.
Yeah, that's all there was.
It's like styrofoam. Did you just have to be given permission to make it yourself? So what are we eating of today? Here, show me in my book.
Okay.
So we did willing obedience yesterday. Today is masterful authority. That's a good one. We have literally, when I pull this camera out, this is the first time we've looked at this page for a while. So this is a characteristic of YHVH, which is executes his authority with mastery. He has authority over fish, basically. Because we were looking at like different things in the stories that he had authority over.
Right.
And he shows he has authority over animals with this catch of fish that he gave Peter or Kepha.
I have mine divided into categories.
Oh, let's see how you
So that's
get
under
yours.
the power to provide.
Oh, cool.
So it has those two catches plus the feeding of the 5,000
Oh, I like how you have yours arranged.
and the 4,000.
Okay, yeah, I like how Isaac has his arranged. So masterful authority over the elements, over the demons, over sickness, over death, healing from afar, and power to provide. So let's just go through your categories there. I like that. Oh, I have it kind of the same way. I'm just kind of all over the place. So he has masterful authority over fish, over demons, over death, over food, over sickness, let's see, over the elements, over distance, basically healing from afar. So when he says, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me, we are going to look at what that means first.
Cool.
It looks good, huh, buddy?
So I bet we're gonna go over to the first one. Elements.
So he has authority over the elements, as in nature. So he
Water
turns,
to wine.
yeah. So he has authority over water. I think that's why we put that there, over the elements, right, Isaac? So the water to wine. What'd you say, Maggie? You said
The weather.
yeah, he calms the storm, and then he walks on water. Masterful authority. Can we have mastery over the elements?
Not like
Well, no. So he shares his authority with us. So Isaac, remember when we changed the weather a few times?
Was that us?
Well, praying his authority over. So he's the one that has the authority, but he's going to allow us to use his authority. So no, it's not by our authority that we can do anything like that. But we used his authority to change the weather. I know of a few times. So
He comes.
I haven't changed water to
the
wine
storm.
yet. But, yeah, calm the storm. No, I have engaged in that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You know?
I've tried, but it's just the one I remember where it actually felt like it worked.
Yeah, I feel like there's been several times for me.
I don't think I have enough faith. That not happen.
You know,
I think I've tried, but I've been doubtful the whole time, so I don't think it would work.
so you're doubtful in if you can tap into his authority is basically what it comes down to, because you believe he can.
No, yeah, I believe he can definitely, but like if I've tried, so like just thinking about the weather or
So he has authority over demons. There's many, many, many times we see him having authority over demons. So can we use his authority to cast out demons?
Yes.
Yeah, we pray.
Yeah, you pray. You pray using his authority to cast out demons and to rebuke Hasatan, because Hasatan won't go away if we just try to say it in our own authority. We have to use Yeshua's authority. That's a tough one, though, too. I mean, the whole concept of authority and using his authority
I think it's lost a little bit.
lost.
I don't think it works as well as it used to.
No.
I mean, it seemed to work so well back then. In all the stories you hear of all the apostles kicking demons out, but when we try to nowadays, it doesn't work.
I don't think we're just a part of where it's happening, honestly. I think the Western world is just super skeptical, and I know it happens in a lot in other countries, and I know that it happens here too in different circles. It's just, but I think it's also been abused. I mean, how we see certain churches using it, come up to the front, now I'm gonna hit you, and in the name of Jesus you're cured, and then they have these, it's all fake, it's all, and so we've been kind of traumatized by that, I think.
Yep. Yeah, we get turned off to the idea, and then it makes it tough to want to, try to participate
Right.
in that.
Right.
To Matthew 8:28 through 32.
Yeah, those are some samples that I wrote out for when he took authority over demons. Would look at the demon, ask who it was, name it, and then rebuke it. But he didn't need to say in Yeshua's name, because he was Yeshua. He also didn't say in the name of Yehovah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Which is interesting. But he is Elohim. So he doesn't need
Right.
to. He's one and the same in the sense of authority. The healing from afar, so he is able to heal people without even touching them, without even being with them in person. So right now I'm praying from afar for my friend Allie in Australia that she will get healthy and well. And so when I was walking on the beach, I was praying, using Yeshua's authority to pray over her and believing that he could,
Right.
if he wanted to. I think that's the thing, is
Right.
Does he want to? In the scriptures, though, it says, remember, who is it that comes to him that says, if you are willing, wasn't it a blind man that comes to Yeshua and says, if you are willing? Yeshua said, I am willing, remember in the Matthew video? And he's almost in tears, I am willing, he wants to.
Yeah, but now it feels like there's so much going on that we don't know about or can't know about, that, with like thorns in the flesh and
I think you need him
things that,
down here.
I think that right there is a big thing. Like, what is the thorn in the flesh that he wants to stay?
right?
And what is something that he wants cured? But he wants us well and healthy. He doesn't want us sick. I mean, for heaven's sakes, his entire ministry was, underscored with all this healing. I mean, he wanted to heal people. He wants to do
There's also
restoration.
a humbling factor, though.
Of being ill.
No, not ill, but having a little thorn in the flesh. I mean, it kind of keeps you a little humble.
Shaul prayed over and over for his thorn in the flesh to be gone, but it never did leave.
Yeah. I don't think mine's going to leave either. I don't know. I think you can accept that. I mean, I have.
Well, I also feel like there's a lot of freedom that is available that we don't believe is available.
Right.
And we don't go after it. We don't pray enough for it. We don't, want it enough. Or have faith enough that he wants it for us. I feel like we question his heart in the whole matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a mom thing. It's like, I have a good heart. I want the best for my family. And so if my family's questioning my heart, I'm like, okay, fine. Fine. We won't do that. We won't do something good. I won't give you that, because I'm like, why do you have to constantly question my heart? So do you think maybe he thinks that too sometimes? He's like, why are you constantly questioning whether I want to or not? Of course I want to. Just know that I will. Right? I really think that's a big one. I think there's thorn in the flesh that we create for ourselves.
That's true. That's true.
And we say, and we try to elevate that issue by saying, well, I'm not going to change my diet. I'm not going to change my attitude or my habits, or I'm not going to do what it takes to change it. It's just my thorn in the flesh. It must be from Papa. Bull crap. It's not from Papa. It's because we're lazy, and we don't want to just do what it takes to be set free. He made us in a certain way. And, part of that is knowing that as human beings, we learn and then we implement, and it's through this practice idea, through creating new habits, through, change, that you're going to get better. I just think we bellyache to him about a thorn in the flesh when he really didn't even put the thorn in the flesh there. We put it there ourselves, and we're blaming him for it, basically, on some level.
Well, I wasn't saying blame him for it and just accept that he put it there.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't put it there.
Maybe it's still there for a reason.
Well, maybe he can use it.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
But maybe it's not supposed to be there forever.
It's not gonna be there forever.
I mean, like,
that's when we get our new body.
Well, I mean, forever as in here.
Masterful authority over death.
Ooh.
And we've got
him.
4 stories here. There may be more. These aren't complete lists at all. We just gave some examples.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a girl in Matthew 9, a widow's son, that's in Luke 7, Jairus' daughter, and then, of course, Lazarus.
Yeah.
John 11.
And since he did all of that, raised those people from the dead, we know, and then he raised from the dead, we know that in the end, there's going to be a lot raised from the dead.
I know. We know that some of the apostles raised people from the dead. That's recorded.
Uh-huh.
And I know people try, but I've never heard of anyone
I don't know.
bringing somebody back to life.
Not personally either. So also, I want to mention that he raised people with him when he resurrected.
Mm-hmm.
So today is Resurrection Day, basically. It's Shabbat. It's the weekly Shabbat during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and he raises at the end of Shabbat, like right at the very end of the day, right before sunset, because he's Lord of Shabbat. So he ascends on the Friday right before Shabbat starts, and he resurrects right at the end of the weekly Shabbat. So he's Lord of the Shabbat. But he raised, and we believe he raised 144,000 and took them to heaven for tomorrow's wave offering.
I mean, the most important thing is that he has the power over the death ultimately.
Right. Yeah.
So we got that hope.
I think that's
he proved that by resurrecting and then by raising the first fruits.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part. The most important point of this whole thing is that he now has authority over death, which means that he can raise us.
Right. But when we're looking to how we eat of him so we can have him and us and be like him, then yeah, you do have to ask the question about, you know, why aren't we raising people from the dead?
Yeah. Well, I wonder too if it's not like, you know, you have to be able to have authority over your, you know, your sock drawer before you can raise somebody from the dead. You know, there's this, he was proving authority over many different things on many levels, and this is the biggest one.
Yeah, maybe we don't give him enough credit for how well he trained his disciples.
Right.
You know, and how disciplined they were. There was portrayed as kind of an out of control bunch of knuckleheads, and you don't really think of them as really like disciplined,
right?
Like in every area of their life, and
right.
I think, and maybe we just have not, maybe we got the story wrong.
Yeah.
In a big way.
So I think there is this training. I think you're right, and I think you have to have masterful authority over the small things before you could ever even get to something as huge as that.
In the Bible stories, it seems so simple. You know, he gives them authority, and they just go out and do it, and they're like, hey, it works. And there's not this big long deal of getting themselves like in the right place and praying through every area of their life, and then getting the person, you know,
you lose a lot in the
restored, holy, and in agreement, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The way it's taught, praying is taught now, is pretty complicated and a big long process. But in the scripture, it seems like it seems so simple.
I also wonder, like, for one, they were hanging out with him every day. They were his Talamuddin, which meant they were soaking in him.
Right, that's what I was
every day. That was their job. They left their jobs to follow him. They were every single day. And he didn't send them out to start doing that until the end of that year.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And I think the level of training that they actually had.
But I'm also saying that just by them being with him, the training was coming. It wasn't something that probably was like, well, here's 10 YouTube videos I want you to watch. Go sit in the corner and read this book and do this assignment. They were like having hands-on, being able to soak in what he was doing every day. Mm-hmm. So it was becoming part of them simply by eating of him 24/7. So there's got to be something to that. That's super valuable. It's like an apprentice. I mean, the difference between an apprentice and somebody who just goes and gets a degree. I mean, an apprentice is supposed to be learning from the master.
Jedi and Padawan.
Yeah, like see, a movie will light Maggie's eyes up.
It gives you some imagination, something to actually think about and say, oh, that's more what it would have been like.
Yeah, I agree.
They're visual. I need visuals, and reading a simple story doesn't help. So I need
Yeah, I know.
parts and bits of stories and music and movies to help me. But it's true. That's how they do it. The Jedi gets a Padawan. The Padawan lives with him basically. Learns from him how the Jedi operates, and then he doesn't become a Jedi or goes out on his own until the Jedi's released him or give him okay, you're ready now. You've learned everything you can from me. So there you go.
That's what we're trying to do, is learn how to eat of Yeshua when he's not here.
Yeah.
To disciple in person. You know?
That's why I think it, like Shaul said, he said, just look at what I do and eat of what I do, basically the idea, because he was so close to Yeshua. Mm-hmm. It was like, he had eaten of Yeshua so much that Yeshua was a part of him and everything. And then so he's like, well, yeah, Yeshua's not here. So, but just do what I do, which can lead you to a whole lot of trouble when somebody positions themselves as somebody like this. So people are scared of that. Mm-hmm. But I think it would ring true if you knew your scriptures and you saw that person, you're like, how close is that person to Yeshua? What the fruit of what they do is going to be so similar to Yeshua's that you can trust, that you can look at what they're doing and go, okay, I can model that. So because he said, what did he say? He said, you know, if you're thirsty, come to him and drink from him, and out of your innermost being is going to flow streams of living water. So the living water idea is like, if you drink from that person, he's talking about other people who are, you know, so close to him that, and drinking from him, that the water coming, the life-giving water that comes out of them, other people are going to get to drink from and have that in them and live. You know what I'm saying? He made it very clear that we're salt, we're light, we're water. There's going to be streams of living water that come out of us. So, you know, I think we can measure up people who are drinking from him. We can, if we have a hard time, like Maggie's saying, she's had a hard time, you know, with just words on a page, and Yeshua is not here. So how can we be a stream of living water for her to drink from and show her in the flesh what Yeshua is like, so that she can drink from his Talmudim that are walking the earth. You know?
So you think that's what he was referring to when he talked about living water?
Of course. Like, what, okay, just his own words. You know, if you're thirsty, come to him and drink, and out of your being will flow streams of living water. I don't see any other interpretation for that, really. If he's making a point to say it's streams of living water, which means you're gonna have this water that's so amazing that everything's gonna grow around it and stuff. What does he say? He says, you know, you're gonna be a tree planted by a stream of water where you're producing fruit. You know, what would the point be of the streams of living water or the being a fruitful tree, you know, if people weren't going to be the beneficiaries of those things, the animals, or that were going to benefit the animals?
I never thought about it. So you're saying that the idea of drinking from the water is like, since he's not here, then it's like okay to look for other sources like people to drink from?
Absolutely, as long as those people line up with scripture and line up with what he's saying, you know, and you'll know, you know, I mean, especially if you have the Ruach HaKodesh, the real set apart Ruach in you, you know, will help you discern who is and who isn't. It has to line up with scripture. There's people who position themselves as, come to me and drink, and they're going to lead you right to hell. But, you know, there's other people that have the personality of Yeshua, who have the characteristics of Yeshua, who are, you know, promoting the kingdom of YHVH and obedience, and those people who are doing it in the manner in which Yeshua is trying to help us understand how to do it, which is through love. That's who you drink from. That's who you eat from. You know, you see somebody who's teaching Torah, but who is not operating in love, you know, don't drink from them. Don't eat from them. Don't take their fruit. Their fruit's poison, you know. So that's good. I like this conversation. He has authority over food. Remember the stories when does he, do you remember Hadassah? How many people did he feed?
The 5,000.
5,000. Then he did another one. For how many people?
400?
4,000.
4,000?
Yeah, so he did a feast twice. He fed people with just a little basket of food. He multiplied it and fed just tons of people. So he had mastery over food.
With bread and fish.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Elements, healing from afar, over demons, over fish, over death, over food, over sickness, which would be sickness, illness. That's the obvious one, where he heals so many people just constantly. We wrote down Kifa's mother-in-law, the lame on Shabbat, the paralytic, the 2 blind men, but he just healed thousands of people. So I love eating of Yeshua. I can eat of him all day. I really struggle to live in this world. I really struggle to just do stuff that has nothing to do with him. For me, that is my biggest challenge. I just wish I could have been here when he was here. I would have been enamored with him. I would just, my cry. That's all I want to do. So I drag people, invite people into, into it all the time if they. Yeah. Okay, we're done. Let's have some more